I'm sure there's going to be weird issues that are identified further along that, especially like as you're saying, with doing it this at the distro level, I think even just past building, right? If the software doesn't build, that's a problem that you can immediately identify. The issues are the runtime issues that may not necessarily be as easy to spot, that require actually interacting with it in a certain way that's going to, I think, take a bit longer to properly identify.
Yeah, I think so. So my testing currently is really limited.
Mhm.
And so I found issues, and it's good to fix these issues, but it's by no means complete. So
Right.
I think really getting these warnings in and fixing these warnings can get us a long way, because
Mhm.
everything that really explicitly uses time t will be fine. And maybe there's places that handle timestamps that never touch a time t.
Mhm.
They will not pop up in these warnings, but I hope it's not too many.
Right, and most of the discussion here has been about C, but this is a problem that can happen in other languages as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, people handle things in all manner of weird ways.
Yeah, Python, for example. When you have your Python code, then it creates a cache file, and this cache file can have a 32-bit timestamp in there. And that part was buggy for a while, and that blocked me from testing other things with 2038. And they still have a 22-bit timestamp in there, but now they just roll over and don't care, because they just match for identity. And for them, it's fine. So they have a good spec, and the spec says it needs to be handled in this way. And if everyone follows the spec, then everything is fine, even after 2106. And they're good. Python people. Actually, a lot of these issues I found were in tests for Python packages, even if the actual bug was not in Python, because the Python people have so good tests for coverage of their Python bindings for C code. That it did find runtime issues in C code stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's really nice. So good tests help.
Are there any other areas that you've sort of, or any other languages, any other areas that you tend to see these pop up in?
Not so much. So I think in Perl I only had one or two. In Python there were a couple, but not always directly from Python.
Mhm.
And yes, C is really still but, very much used.
Mhm.
So, I'm not sure what's it about Rust and Go, but I can't really remember seeing issues there.
Mhm. I have no doubt people in the web space are doing weird things, though. Web developers just do weird things.
NPM and Node.js and stuff.
Yeah. And the problem is that stuff kind of creeps into the desktop with how much Electron stuff there is as well.
Yeah, let's bundle a browser and send it out as an app. Uh, at some point, I counted in our OpenSUSE distribution how many Chromium instances we have in there. Because we have an Electron package and another Electron package and Qt Web Engine for Qt5, for Qt6. And so I think there were at least six
You also
Chromium
have
instances.
the what is it, Chromium embedded framework, which is what OBS uses
Yeah,
for its browser docs.
yeah. So that's a couple, and so you have a lot of code duplications. And if you fix an issue in one place, then you have to ensure that the fix ripples down through the chain to all the other places where there's a copy of this code.
Right.
And
Let alone
it's
the applications that bundle it, and then you got that problem as well.
yeah, vendor targets. I can tell you stories about vendor targets where there's this bug, and I fix it upstream in the original sources, and then we have vendor targets of the things that go with other Rust packages and Go packages, and I think NPM also does vendor targets, and they have multiple copies of the same code in different versions and throw it into one. Because, yeah, they can do this thing with their package manager, so why not do that? Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fun thing. So let's assume there's a lot of old software out there and it keeps getting bundled for a while. And it might be not only 1 year, but 2 and 5. And that can get dangerous at some point.
Right. It sounds like you've had a lot of experience here. You don't sound very excited to talk about this topic.
Oh, I'm very excited to get things fixed.
That's
so, yeah, because if he can find these things, not for the 2038 problem, but for other things, I looked into really old code with Lisp and TCL, or TCL, some pronounce it. And it's fun doing patches there because it's understanding yet another language. It's so different with all these brackets and different mode of operation.
How long have you been involved in, well, not just in SUSE, but just in Linux stuff in general?
I got my first Linux running in 1999. And
Do you remember what that was at the time?
Linux. SUSE Linux before it was OpenSUSE.
Mm-hmm.
So, and from there, it's always been upgraded and upgraded. And yeah, it's quite some time. And my first open source stuff I published in 2001. I did some kernel hacking to get overlay when there wasn't no official overlay file system yet. And at some point it broke because it was a really dirty hack, and yeah, it sort of bit rotted. Let's call it bit rotted. There's so much bit rot. And yeah, in December I looked at old code where we have these old games. We have a whole collection of 700 something game packages where people have these old Rocks and Diamonds and Pac-Man and Breakout and Tetris and open source ports of these. And these were developed for very old systems with Xorg and SDL1 and old stuff. And at some point, compilation broke, and I looked into it, and I got a lot of them, dozens back working, and it's nice.
Bitrot is another one of those problems that people kind of just ignore as well. They think, oh, if I write something once, then it just works forever. And in some place, I think X11 gave people a lot of security there because Xorg has changed so little over the past 20 years that you can run a ancient Xorg, or some ancient X11 application, and it's generally fine. But that's not how most other things work.